Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bells Must Ring podcast. I am your host, Andrew Rice, here with my usual co host, Arnav Sarkar. Starting out today's episode, we have to talk about a brutal day in basketball yesterday. The men basketball team out in Michigan lost to number 3 Michigan 101 to 60, and the women's team lost 79 to 36 against number 12 Iowa. Ugly, ugly scores. Just the women's team was, I believe, 5 points away from giving up their worst loss in school history. The men's get obliterated by Landenborg and his crew.
Yeah, a
It
really
leaves such
horrible
a
day.
bad taste in my mouth.
Me too. Really horrible day for Scarlet Knights basketball on either side, men's, women's. I guess people thought maybe you have a nice doubleheader to look forward to, but obviously, maybe not really because both of these teams are really good. So, yeah, I don't think Michigan was so surprising, honestly. Like, I was in charge of that one yesterday. I was watching it, wrote the recap. But Michigan's been obliterating everybody. So they obliterated Gonzaga, Auburn, teams that are better than Rutgers, probably, by a significant margin better than Rutgers. And, Gonzaga, a team that I think just beat Kentucky by 40, like close to 40 points or something, 35. Like it was pretty bad. So, Gonzaga's a team that, they're not really a power team, but they basically are like a power team. And,
I
yeah,
would I would argue that they are. I mean, they might
they're
not be in a power conference, but they're
right.
a power team.
Yeah, they are. They're in the tournament every year. They beat teams like Kentucky Blue Bloods. Like they're definitely like in
They're
that
close to blue
conversation.
blood status. They're not quite there, but they're close.
Yeah, they're close. They become like a power. So anyway, I guess my point with Michigan is Gonzaga. That's a team that beat Alabama this season. They beat Maryland by 39. Maryland's looking really not good, by the way, this season. They lost to Iowa by almost 20 points. So they don't look good at all. But Gonzaga still beat them by 39. Then they lose to Michigan by 40, and then they bounce back by beating Kentucky by 35. So this is a good Zaga. Oh, it's a good Zaga team. It's a really good Michigan team. The thing is, they're not going to be able to beat everybody by 40, but it's a long season. But against Rutgers, yeah, Rutgers didn't really look too much worse than the other teams, but they also just didn't really have much of a chance. They were down 50 to 25 at the half. It was just.
Holy jeez.
Yeah, it just didn't look good. Michigan is just dominant in every facet of the game. The rebounding, Morez Johnson Jr., the forward, at 22 points. He had 50 in the first half. Lendenborg at 14, Cadeau at 11. There 3 scores off the bench had double figures. Once the 3 started falling, it was just over because first that wasn't happening. They were just so dominant at the rim, but then they started just making triples, and it was just like 3-point barrage, and I don't know, Rutgers could just not keep up. So, but a couple things that I guess I wanted to mention for Rutgers, they have a couple of shooters. Haroon Zerno for the second straight game has proven that he has a quick trigger. He can make it from the corner. Right away, you know what I mean? He could definitely make his 3-point shots. And Caden Powers, he's a guy who could score inside and outside. You give him the ball and you give him a shot, like chance, you know what I mean? He has the ability to put some points up. So those two are definitely guys that can score the basketball, that can shoot the basketball. Probably the 2 best shooters on this Rutgers team. And it was good to see Zerno making his first start. I think he's definitely, he started the season slow. He's definitely come into his own. He has a quick trigger. He can make it, right away guarded. He's like a 3-point specialist almost. Powers can kind of get his own shot from just about anywhere, and he's pretty reliable as well. So you want those types of guys playing extended minutes. Powers obviously coming off the bench. Zerno making a start. So, that's promising. Right now Rutgers is just Steve Pikiell's trying to throw in whatever lineups he can get. But I think those two players played the best, and they both had 13 points yesterday. Other than that, and not in garbage time, and kind of when it was still somewhat competitive, those two had 13 points. So I would say that if there's any positives to take away, it's that. Extended minutes from Zerno, 13, extended minutes from Kane Powers, 13, and like I said, non-garbage time. This team has a couple guys who could shoot the basketball. I think that's good to see, because I mean, Dylan Grant, Tariq Francis, they could not really get their buckets until later in the game. So even though they ended up having 11, Grant had 11 by the end of it, Francis had 9. But when the game was actually going on, those two were the guys who really were able to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, I mean, no other way to slice it. They do have some. They do have some scorers there, but it really brings in the question: was that just because Michigan took off the gas, or was it because everybody's going to score in a certain game?
Right. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't. It's hard to look at the fact that we have 60 points and say we have shooters. If we have
Yeah.
like
No, but I mean, like the two of them like did score their points like in the beginning, in the first half. Like I think Zerno had a lot of hits. Like he had 8, and Powers had 7. Zerno had a layup at 2 threes. Powers had 2 long twos and a 3. So they had like decent. And then the second half they added more. So it's not like they had 20, 30 each or anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, these are guys who can shoot the ball. They can get buckets. That's been a problem for Rutgers for a long time. You don't have reliable shooters on this team typically, or if you do, they're like few and far between. And I mean, I think these guys have earned themselves playing time. I mean, sometimes basketball really is that simple. You got to get guys who can make shots, and those guys, they could do it. So one's more of catch and shoot, one's more of a I can get my shot. I'm that guy. So I mean, either way, like I think those are some positives you could take away. I mean, another thing, Bay Fall looked like basically unplayable like yesterday. Like he was, I don't know what he was tipping the ball in for Michigan. Like I think I saw a stat, he had 6 points for the Wolverines and 2 for Rutgers, and I was like, I mean, like Agbole looks like much better than he does. Like yeah, I mean, it just
we
did
should
not
never
look.
be saying that about Agbole.
No, I mean, Agbole put up 0 and 2 boards. The second you play someone, teams his own size. But I mean, like, yeah, Bayfall just did not look. He looked completely out of place. Like, and he just also like doesn't have really the weight, really. Like, or the, you know what I mean? He's like a skinny guy, but it's not even about that. It's just I don't know, like, what was going on with him. Like, he was just not in the right place. He was tipping the ball in for Michigan. Like, yeah, not a good look at all. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say other than 2 positives, I guess, Zerno, Powers. But other than that, like, my goodness, it was just a rough game. Rutgers just did not have any answers, and once the competition goes up, I guess it's just hard to score on these guys. But for Michigan, it was just like everybody could get their buckets, so they could attack. They attacked the rim with ease. Like I said, once the 3 started falling on top of that, it was like game over. And even when the bench came on into the game, it was like they still kept scoring, and that was just like, oh man. Like, I mean, later on in the game there was the double technicals with Dylan Grant and a Michigan player, that which I thought was, I guess, kind of interesting. It was like that still showed that the teams were fighting out there. But yeah, no, I mean, it was just such a lopsided game. But I think Michigan's probably like the best team in the country. I mean, bar none. I mean, Purdue lost yesterday. Indiana basket, like a lot of the Big Ten teams lost and were doing pretty good. Michigan State took their first loss to Duke.
Purdue got obliterated.
Yeah, not only did they lose, they lost by 20 points plus to Iowa State, who's a good team, but I was not expecting that. So Michigan, like, I think they have to be ranked number 1. I mean, I know Arizona won last night by, I think, 20 plus against Auburn, but I would give Michigan the 1 seed, or well, not the 1 seed. They will be a 1 seed in March, but the number 1
Yeah.
ranking right now in the AP poll. And then maybe you keep Arizona at 2. You have to drop Purdue. So, but yeah, I mean, I think this team is the best team in the country, bar none. There's a chance that this team doesn't lose a game. Like, I mean, I'm sure they probably will at some point, but I mean, who are they? Yeah, I mean, this team's really good. I mean, it's good. They have a non-conference game against Duke later in the year. They still play Purdue, Michigan State, but I mean, this Michigan team is really, really good. And I don't know if I've seen anything like it. I mean, like, this is their 4th game now where they've blown out the competition by 30 or more. This is the 3rd game in a row where they've scored 100 or more. And these are all against power conference teams. And the past 2 teams that they did this against were ranked. And next up, they have Villanova. So, I mean, that's another team that, is kind of like they're not really a blue blood by any means, but they're, a pretty decent school. But I feel like Michigan's going to do the same thing. Then they have Maryland probably going to do the same thing. LaSalle, McNeese State. Like, I mean, even in big against these good teams, they've just ran them out of the gym. So I mean, it's quite the show going on in Ann Arbor. If you haven't seen a Michigan game this season, you should watch one because they're a very exciting team. But for Rutgers men's basketball, just a brutal loss. They actually played a pretty more competitive game against Purdue, as bad as that one was, and now they have Seton Hall coming up in Newark, and that's another team that's rolling, that has some momentum. They're 9-1 on the season. This is not going to be any type of easy game for the Scarlet Knights. So yeah, I mean, like their one loss coming in Maui to number 24 USC, 83-81. So I mean, that's a Big Ten team, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they beat Central Connecticut State, the same team we lost to, by 16. They beat Kansas State in Kansas State, in Manhattan, by 11. So I mean, game at the Peru is going to be a tough one for the Scarlet Knights, but I mean, probably less tough than the last couple of them, which is, a better chance for Rutgers to stay in that game. I mean, I think Rutgers has won like 3 straight in this series against the Hall.
We are going to beat Seton Hall. You want to know how I know? The winner of the Rutgers Seton Hall game always has the more disappointing season.
Yeah, that is true.
Always. Not the worst season.
The more disappointing.
Not the worst season. The more disappointing season.
Well, the other one, the loser, usually ends up going on to be a complete disaster. And then the winner's resume, like, it basically hits the winner's resume when they lose to that team. So if we can, I think I saw this on X yesterday, or, it's still weird calling it X, but I mean, on Twitter, on X, but and now I forgot what I was going to say. But if Rutgers loses to Seton Hall, or rather Seton Hall loses to Rutgers, it could be a big, like, resume damaging loss. Because I think Rutgers right now is like a Q3 or Q4 game for.
I'm sure we're a Q4. I have no
Q4, on KenPom, all that good stuff. But the net, I mean, I think we're a Q4, or Q4 for the Hall. That's embarrassing, honestly. But like, I mean, even if we're Q3, I mean, the Halls, they're like a lot better of a team. Like, I mean, if they lose to us, then that's a big hit on the resume. Absolutely.
What do we say? Deck the Hall?
Deck the Hall. I love that so much. Like, yeah. But the problem is we also have a Q4 loss now to Central Connecticut. So, yeah. But anyway,
we're essentially Q5 at this point.
The Q5 loss. Like, I saw, like, in the first game of the season, the first day of the season, like, Boise State lost to a D2 team, and then they're like the rare Q5 loss, and I was just like, yeah, like, pretty much. But anyway, so moving past that, I guess.
Let's get into some women's basketball, right?
Great. So yeah, like that one went any better for the Scarlet Knights?
No, actually, it indeed did not. And in fact, it went a little bit worse, because instead of losing by 41, the women's team lost by 43. Complete and utter domination of this squad from Iowa. The Hawkeyes outscored the Knights 44-18 in the paint. Like, just register that for a second. Complete and utter domination in the paint. They had 3 players score 14 points or more. Center Ava Hayden scored 17, which
she was a beast yesterday. Like, I mean, they had no answer for her inside. They were just getting into her. They could not stop her for anything last night.
To quote one of the comments on our article about women's basketball, it's, I mean, what are we doing here?
It was bad. I mean, they had 18 points through 3 quarters. Like, the fact that they even got to 36, like, that doesn't even show, like, how lopsided this thing was. Like, they
42-14 at the half. 42-14 at the half.
It's just like, it's like these teams are in, like, different, like, leagues or something. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I mean, and look, Iowa women's basketball has been very good. They've had Caitlin Clark, they've had Lucy Olson, they've had Kate Martin. I mean, even
They're
without
gonna
them,
be
like
they're gonna be sending players to the league for a
yeah,
long
Hannah
time.
Spilkey
So
is very good. I mean, they've had and they still have a lot of talent. I
Hayden is
mean,
also very good
Heiden's very good.
too, but she's only a sophomore. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I could be wrong,
I
but
think so. She's younger. I mean,
yeah,
Feuerbach has been good, not that great, but like she's been good. Like, she could probably start a lot of places as well. So I mean, they have like talented
Mira
players up and
started.
down. Well, and she did start, yeah. Taylor McCabe is very good, like the way she was catching and shooting some 3-pointers and stuff like that. So they have like Taylor Stremlo, she was pretty good. Like, she's kind of all around player, like I was saying on the pod. But yeah, I mean Iowa just has a lot of good players. They're a good team, like I said, but right now they don't have like a superstar like guard, but I mean they've made up for it in other ways. But I guess my point is I was pretty good, but Rutgers should not be losing by that much and looking so uncompetitive in a basketball game, in a conference game.
Especially
Like
since we have all these high major transfers that should be elevating our team. You got to think. Lauren Swan, she came back.
right,
Nene
yeah,
and Jerry,
documentary, yeah,
like this, like Faith Blackstone. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
right.
look,
It's
don't
just
get me wrong. I love this team, want to see them do well, but
yeah,
it's almost like we look completely outclassed out there, and there's no reason for that. You know,
yeah. I agree,
there's
but
no.
like
We had 15 turnovers to Iowa's 10, but
right,
Iowa, and which is a big difference. It's not tremendous, but it's a big difference. But
yeah,
Iowa, in their points off of turnovers, was just completely ridiculous because
yeah.
we had our chances. We had the ball, obviously, on offense, but every single time we would get into Iowa's territory, it was like running into a brick wall. Like
Yeah.
I kid you not, that defense, you know, we would have needed. Sometimes it felt like we needed like a jackhammer to get something in there. Like that's
So
just how stout they were, how
it's
on the
not
ball.
even just like it's not like Rutgers just had a really off shooting night where they just couldn't. It's like they couldn't even generate good shots because the defense was just that good for Iowa. Like you're saying,
I mean, obviously, the defense being that good leads to an off shooting night. It does.
right? Yeah,
It's the fact that they're passing it around. They can't get open looks. They can't.
yeah. I mean,
Every
they're all over the place. Yeah,
everywhere they went, there seemed to be a defender waiting for them. You know, and that's why Iowa had completely outclassed Rutgers in terms of defensive rebounds. I think they had over like 45. I unfortunately don't have the stats here in
insane.
front of me, but I think they had like over 45. You know,
It's
compared to
just
like
not,
Rutgers had like 30. Like I said, I don't have the stats here in front of me, so
yeah,
don't quote
right.
me exactly on that. But I do know that there was a big disparity between the defensive rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these, I mean, that's just insane. Like how good, like how Rutgers couldn't even really get like a lot of good looks because that's how good the defense it was. I mean, like they were just completely overmatched to the point where it looked like a woman 16 versus one. Like that's kind of what happens a lot of the time. Like they'll double triple them, but Iowa had led the first quarter 22, finished the first quarter up 22-6. Second quarter after halftime it was 42-14. Third quarter, Iowa scores 23, Rutgers scores 4, and then I mean, so it's at that point it's like 65 to I don't even know, like 18, and then
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's just insane to think about. And then Rutgers wins the fourth quarter because I think Iowa takes their foot off the gas. Rutgers fights a little harder, they get some shots and they get some steals, things like that.
I will say,
Yeah,
out of everything that happened that night, it was nice to see that they just played until the end. They
right,
didn't
yeah,
like completely fold over. It was nice to see that they came out in the fourth quarter, tried to keep fighting. Obviously, at that point, you're not coming back. They
no,
were down by 40,
yeah,
50 at that point, you
yeah,
know. But at least they played hard, played to win. You really, in that scenario, you can't ask for anything more, you
right.
know. In that fourth quarter scenario, when you're down by so much, you really can't ask for anything more. It is nice to see. Um, yeah, that's all the positives I can take out of this. Like it was really truly a complete disaster.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my question is Okay, Rutgers is 7-3 on the season. I mean, is Iowa really that much better than all the teams that Rutgers has played, or did
Yes.
Rutgers also? So Iowa would beat all these teams by more than they did Rutgers.
Yes.
I mean, I don't like that. Like, but that's how
Because you,
college sports works, I
Arnav, you
guess.
got to think, who have we played?
I
You
know
know,
we played like some bad teams. Like we
we
played
played
Siena,
scrubs.
FDU. We played a bunch of mid majors, and we kind of struggle with them too for the most part, except for I guess maybe Northeastern. Yeah, you're right, because Rutgers was very competitive with some of these bottom teams that really haven't won a lot of games, and like they struggle to put those teams away. I think it's a little bit of both, because I mean I think Iowa they're way better than Rutgers, obviously, but at the same time, like no other
They
teams
should not have
struggle.
shut us out like that. No, they
Yeah,
should not
yeah,
have
that's what
completely shut us down.
now, if Rutgers opponents played Iowa, it would still be pretty bad, except for maybe maybe you can make a couple exceptions, but for the most part, it would be kind of bad.
Auburn maybe, but
Auburn maybe would hang in. I mean, yeah, Iowa's definitely the best team by far that Rutgers has played this season. However, I mean, Iowa's also played some mid majors. Yeah, they've also blown other teams out, like Evansville. I don't even know who, Drake. Like, these teams aren't good. Northern Iowa, even they scored 40, 50 points. You know what I mean? And I mean, Western Illinois lost 86-69. Fairfield, who's a MAC team with 2 A's, lost 86-72. I guess my short point being, yeah, like it's a lopsided matchup, but Rutgers should not be losing 79-36. I mean, this is not. I think both is true. Iowa's a way better team than Rutgers. Rutgers also had a really bad game because chances are if they had a good game, they lose by 20. It's not great. 25, but I mean to lose by 43 and basically that even come in garbage time. I mean that's just, you cannot play like that for the Rutgers. You can't tell me Rutgers isn't that bad, but they have played at times like they are that bad against worse teams and
Stony
allowed.
Brook.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they have played that bad against teams like Siena and St. Peter's and at stretches, and they've also played really good in other stretches. And this inconsistency is what really got to Rutgers, because in this game they basically were shut off for basically with better defense, shut off for pretty much not only parts of the game but almost the entire game. So yeah,
One thing I will say is that this team seems to really struggle when Njai's not having a good night.
yeah,
Like all of a sudden, we go from a team that looks like we could contend for the world championship to a team that can't,
can't
walk and
buy a
chew gum
bucket.
at the same time. So we need to find other scoring options.
Yeah,
Swan coming back healthy should help.
that's true because she's a quality scorer. Um,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, but yeah, Najai also only had 4 points. It seems like every game this season before this, she's been going off. She's had like 15, 20. Obviously, like you said, tough defense from Iowa. I mean, they have size, they have speed, they're all over the place, like all of that kind of thing. Um, but at the same time, like they were like intercepting passes. I was like, yeah, I mean, they're doing just about everything like that. Forcing Rutgers into tough shot looks and just not really allowing much. But at the same time, like I mean. Yeah, it was just a brutal game, but Rutgers cannot be playing this bad like the rest of the year in Big Ten plays is my point. They might not be a great team, but they can't be, you know what I mean? Because teams are in the Big Ten, like, you're gonna get teams like Iowa and at like every other night. Like, like there's better teams than Iowa in this conference. Like, so I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
Like
They're,
the much better teams too.
you think they're the best, like they're not. There's Maryland who's ranked 7th, Michigan's ranked 6th. I mean, even like Princeton's not ranked, but they're borderline top 25 or something, and Michigan State's 20, Ohio State's 23. So there's maybe some also worse teams too that aren't ranked, but Rutgers is going to be in for like a fight like every game at the very least. They're going to be the underdogs now like almost every time, and they're going to play better teams than the Hawks. They're going to play USC. They're going to play UCLA. These are teams that are going to be competing for. Michigan looks really good this year. They're going to be playing teams that are competing for national championships and Big Ten championships. So they've got to step it up like majorly. If this was a test of, like if this was like your litmus test, how's Big Ten play going to go, then that's just a disaster. I mean, we need that's just not. it's not good. Like, I mean, I know they might be whatever 7-3, but this is like more representative of the competition that they're going to be playing, and they got ran out of the gym. Like, it didn't even look competitive. So yeah, they're gonna have to find ways to score, because having basically nobody be able to score at all for like 3 quarters is just like truly like unacceptable. So I mean, yeah, they definitely have to figure that out. And they have a quick turnaround again, because Princeton's only is on Wednesday, and that's a team that's pretty good. They've beaten Rutgers, I think, 3 years in a row, and they this year they look pretty good too. I mean, they're I think they're also 9-1. Yeah, they're 9-1. They've also beat Rhode Island, who Rutgers beat. They beat Seton Hall. They beat Penn State, a Big Ten team. They lost to Maryland by 16 points, but that's a seventh ranked team in the country. So I mean, that's a team that I guess should be will be able to beat a team like Princeton. But against like another Big Ten team like Penn State, who's also not that bad, I don't think, in women's basketball, or or maybe even if they are, they're probably relative to where Rutgers is, and they handled that. So I mean, they handled that one on the road. So against Rutgers, or against Rutgers, probably Princeton's looking at being the better team. So Rutgers is going to have to step up in a huge way, bounce back from this, put together a win, or at least a much more competitive loss, and really get things going again. Because after that, then they have Lafayette coming, that should probably be a win for Rutgers. Honestly,
Should, yeah.
they've lost to teams like FDU and NJIT, who Rutgers has beaten. So yeah, it should be a win. No guarantees, I guess, but yeah, well, yeah, I mean, should, but and then after that, Big Ten play, I guess. So I mean, yeah, I mean, Michigan State also 20th team in the country at the Breslin. They're not bad by any means either. So yeah, Rutgers women's basketball is definitely gonna have to step up the effort, step up in a lot of ways, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I mean, just a brutal loss yesterday, and after the men's game, like seeing that, like, wow.
Yeah, it's like, when does it end? You
It's
know?
like whiplash. Like, I mean, like, I don't know.
When does it end?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess like I want to like compare. Like, it's like the men's like loss to Michigan kind of felt like a G5 football team playing like a good Power 4 team, but the women's one felt like an FCS team playing them. Like, they just ran into like a brick wall while getting, like, you know what I mean? It felt like different. Like, as bad as the men's one was, like, it still felt like they could kind of score. They just weren't going to score enough. But the women's game felt like they were defensively shut down, which I think makes it that much more frustrating as well. You know what I mean? Like, when an FCS team, a good one even, will play like a Power 4 team, they won't be able to score the ball. It won't even look fun. You know what I mean? So like when a G5 team plays, maybe they at least have some shot in it, but then it still looks bad. Like, I guess that's the difference I want to make. But neither of them were great at all, and both teams got ran out of the gym, and it was just. But I think also for Michigan, you have to keep in mind that they do that to a lot, like, pretty. It looks like they're doing that to everyone. For Iowa, like, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like they've really done that to a lot of teams, other than the teams that are like nowhere near. So if Rutgers is in that category of nowhere near, then I mean, this could be a long season for the Scarlet Knights.
Yes, exactly. Um, well, yeah, I mean, there's no other way to really put that. It's
Yeah,
gonna sounds like it's gonna be a long season and a very cold winter in Piscataway anyway.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
no matter how you really want to
No
slice
matter
it.
how you want to slice it, yeah, yeah, it's going to be a long winter in Piscataway for, looks like, both teams. I mean, it's hard to even say. I was more optimistic about the women's team going into yesterday. I was like, they're probably going to lose to Iowa, but they look like the more competitive team and this and that. But then now it's like flipped. It's like, well, maybe the men's team's like the more. I don't know. It's not like they look
Yeah,
great either. So yeah, it's going to be a brutal winter. I guess, yeah. I mean, there will definitely be games where these two teams win, and they're not going to be playing world beaters. That is true, but it's just like in anything of substance, like, you're probably not going to get that out of these squads, unfortunately. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's like I really do want Rutgers to beat Seton Hall next week, at least for men's basketball. But I'm really not confident in that, the way of like Seton Hall's playing, the way Rutgers is playing, and I don't know. That should be a fun game. It always is a fun game. It's the rock fight, the Garden State Harwood Classic, but Yeah, I don't know. This year's, I don't know, Seton Hall, like what they did, but they look very good. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is, but they look pretty good. So, I mean, I think they got some good transfers in the portal and stuff like that, but they look pretty good. And Rutgers, as usual, just not. So, like, I mean, it's just not good. Really not good. But after that, they get like Penn and Delaware State, and it just sucks that like those are the types of games you have to be like, yeah, we're gonna win. Like that's great because like that you can't really count on that for like an actual game of like meaning anymore. So I mean, like it is what it is, I guess. But I don't know. It's gonna be a long winter. We should get to football because there's a lot of optimism in football.
I was about to say there are a couple things to be hopeful for in football. It's something that might warm your fire throughout this cold winter in the rack. Starting off with probably the best news of the weekend. Rutgers football has flipped four-star safety Messiah Tilson.
Oh yeah,
He flipped at the 11th hour from Kentucky. Really just freak
yeah,
of an athlete.
yeah,
I mean, we lose Chris Hewitt Jr. Don't get me wrong, solid player, and we get Messiah Tilson. You know what? I will probably take that trade any day of the week.
right.
Fast, physical, good
Yeah,
coverage,
I saw his highlights.
nose
He's
for the
all
ball. Like
things. Yeah.
I cannot say enough about this kid. Well, you were the one that did his official breakdown. I'm going to hand it over to you to tell me what we're looking at here.
Yeah, no, like you said, he's physical, he's fast, he can get downhill, make tackles in the backfield as a safety. And he's a very good player. He fits that trend of speed that we've been talking about with Rutgers secondary players in particular. And I mean, the hard hitting is really something to see. Like I do like that in coming from a defense, play with violence. Yeah, obviously, clean violence, but he definitely does, and he's a ball hawk as well. He can get his hands on the football. He played a lot of offense in high school, is productive, but on defense, he was getting TFLs, he was getting deflections, he was interceptions. I mean, the guy's a true baller coming in from at the safety position and a 4-star recruit. I mean, one of the highest in the class. So yeah, definitely a really good flip. I was hearing that he was in the conversation for Rutgers. He finished second, or Rutgers finished second in his recruiting behind Kentucky. I think Minnesota and some other team from the Big Ten were in the conversation as well. But he ended up going to Kentucky. But I guess with the firing of Mark Stoops over there, because they've just not really been a good team in the SEC by any means lately. So they got rid of him, bringing in Will Stein who's Oregon's offensive coordinator.
Not a
Okay,
bad pickup, I must say.
not a bad pickup. He's a very good. I mean, we saw what their offense could do against Rutgers. But like, I mean, my God, like, no, that's a very fiery, explosive team. I mean, you think about Oregon football, you think about the offenses like that, West Coast offenses. It's fun. It
You
is
think
fun.
about playing for clicks. You think about playing for wins, not playing for clicks.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, but yeah, no, Will Stein coming in. But I mean, obviously that messes up with the recruiting. I'm sure like Mark Stoops and their staff, they pitch something to him, and now you bring in someone else. They might not have the same loyalties to the kid. They might go in a completely different direction. Who knows? They don't know him. So, you know what I mean? All that goes out the window. He comes to Rutgers. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this prospect. Like he looks really good. Like this is one heck of a get by the Scarlet Knights. They did not give up on his recruitment after he committed. It's a similar story with Devontae Anderson, and they get another late flip. And great way to close the early signing period in the 11th hour. And this guy could be a guy who starts in our secondary in a couple of years. Like I'm very excited to see that.
Shiano should get a John Cena shirt that says "Never give up," and then add "on recruiting" on the bottom.
On recruiting. Yeah.
Because he always seems to have like one or two flips within the last week of the recruiting cycle. He always seems to be able to dig deep, beat somebody that he probably should not beat in the recruiting cycle. Like obviously they got Jared Smith. He was recruited by
Oh yeah.
Georgia. Respectfully, Rutgers has no business beating Georgia in recruiting battles, but we did. So like I said, Shannon needs to get a John Cena shirt that says "Never give up on recruiting." Um,
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
literally.
like an incredible get. The one thing I really like about this kid is that he's not afraid to come downhill. Sometimes with defensive backs, more so corners than safeties, but even still, sometimes with defensive backs, they're afraid to come up and make tackles in the run game. Not this kid. He downhill player, really good nose for the ball, and yeah, really incredible get for Rutgers. I mean, I wonder how much our ranking in the rivals industry rankings jumped up simply because we got him. Adding another 4-star does wonders for that. What is that, our
Yeah,
third?
I saw we moved up 5 spots. We were 44, and then we moved up to 39 with that one pickup. So a top 40 class in the country now, at this time. So I mean,
Hey,
that's
I'll take it.
I'll take it. I mean, it's a win in recruiting. I mean, sometimes like it's hard to really translate that to, the field, I guess, because it's like you know what I mean? Like it almost feels like two separate games in a way, but I mean they are related, obviously, but sometimes it's hard to like kind of do that correlation, especially a couple years in advance. But hey, the better classes you have, that means the better players you're getting, the more talent, all of that kind of stuff, and especially when it's like a 4-star like him. I mean that's a difference maker. That's definitely a difference maker. Higher potential, and yeah, really good flip there. I mean, you're right. Like they have had the ability to do that in the last few years. Even this cycle, Jared Smith, and I'm really excited for Tilson. I feel like with the way the secondary's been looking. I mean, we need a player like that. Like to be able to come in, I guess, and really straighten things out because I mean,
Kind of
really
a mess.
play with some edge. I mean, because I mean, the safeties were like, oh my god, they were bad. Like the corners were bad. The safeties might have been worse this year. Like, I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know. I
Especially at
mean,
the beginning of the year, yeah.
yeah, in the beginning, I guess, but yeah, later on, I guess they got tied up, or they got tightened up. But I mean, I don't know. Like, no part of that defense was good, which I think was probably the most frustrating. I was like, well, maybe if the run defense isn't that bad, like, or is bad, they could at least stop the pass, or they could at least run sack. They could at least get sacks, and they look fun, but they're horrible. But no, they can't do that either. They can't get pressure. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. It's like, what can they do? But I guess the good news about this is that Rutgers has made the move official to fire Rob Smith, Zach Sparber, and defensive line coach Colin Ferrell. So two of those might come by surprise a little bit. One of them certainly does not come by surprise, but
I
I
don't
think
think two of them come by surprise at all.
I think it kind of
Um,
had to happen,
the
honestly,
only
like the
one
way
that
the
comes
season
by
went.
surprise is Sparber because of how big his contract
Yeah,
was.
and how
But
young he is too. Yeah,
yeah, but Ferrell and Smith, I
Ferrell and
mean,
Smith, I think, have to
what have
go.
they
Yeah.
done? They have done nothing for
I mean,
us.
this defense was like historic, not just bad. They were historically bad. I mean, they were giving up what 7.6 yards a play in Big Ten play. This is
I would
it's
not be surprised if Vic Hall leaves too. I mean, or Vic
yeah,
Hall is shown the door as well.
one of the
Um,
one of the worst defenses in Big Ten history, if not the
oh
worst. I mean,
boy,
it was just they were giving up almost in a first down like every time they touched the ball. It was just like it was or every time the other team touched the ball. I mean, that's just not acceptable. The run defense was particularly bad, obviously, but I mean, they could not guard, they could not line up correctly. Like I don't know what they were telling these guys, but the defense was just all sorts of bad. So yeah, I mean, this move had to be made. I don't.
but
I don't know.
this should communicate something to Shiano, the coaching staff, and whoever finalizes the hires of the coordinators.
Yeah,
Stop with the boys club. Shiano, you might have to make a hire out of somebody you don't know,
right.
and just
Yeah,
do your research on them. Stop with the boys club. It has not worked. We need fresh ideas to be able to take this unit, this team, this program to the next level. I understand how you want some people that are familiar with how you work, but at the same time, you want people who are gonna innovate too. We need innovators. You need fresh thinking. You need people that can challenge Shiano's mentality. Rob Smith was not going to do that. You know, Kirk Shiraka maybe because he's a more respected professional in the field, but
right.
we have to make hires outside of. Uh, a guy shouldn't be hired simply because he knows how to work with Greg.
I
A
mean,
guy
that's
should be
yeah,
hired for his capability and results in previous locations. You
right.
know,
And I think Sparber was like, well, I don't know, he was a linebackers coach at
he
JMU,
wasn't
right?
even. We need somebody with defensive coordinator
Yeah.
experience, even
But
at like
see,
the
I don't think they
FCS
had any
level.
faith in Sparber because with the way this defense was, they would have given him the play sheet if they had faith in him.
Exactly. So they should have. First of all, they should have hired somebody with DC experience. I mean,
Yeah. Well, other than Rob
Harris
Smith, I
Simiak.
guess.
Harris Simiak before he left.
Hersomiak
You know?
was pretty decent. Like as bad as it was, he got things fixed, and I give him credit for that. And
I mean, I'm not talking about Rob Smith. I'm talking about in Sparber's case, they need to get somebody with the defensive coordinator experience. He was obviously way too inexperienced for the job. He has only been a position coach for 1 year at James Madison, and that was it.
yeah,
I understand he might be a hot up and coming commodity, but right now he was not ready for that role, and he was a gross overpay as well.
yeah,
He got $800,000 when they could have easily gotten away with giving him like 500,000.
yeah.
Regardless,
Right.
regardless.
Right. Yeah.
And
Moving
you
past
also need
that now.
somebody with a proven track record of doing well at their position. Everywhere Smith has went, he has destroyed.
Yeah.
It is like the plague. It wipes away everything it touches.
Yeah. I don't know
He-
how he thought that was like a good idea. Like after Greg and let him go not once but twice. Like I mean, he was
well, first of all, he was not let go under Greg the first time. He was let go under Kyle Flood.
Southline. Oh, I mean, he was literally on the staff like 3-4 years ago, and then
Yep.
I mean, it's just like then he goes to other places. He bounces around. Like his resume list is like long because he's never able to like stick around anywhere for that
Hmm.
long. And then he comes back here, and after this disaster, I mean, who's gonna even want to take a guy like that? Like it's
It's
just
just
like
another notch on the resume.
I mean, but it's just like now it's just like well, like I turned the program that's known for defense into like the laughing stock of the country on defense. I mean, this
Mhm.
team was like worst in FBS in multiple categories, like in the yards per play. And other ones they were like one of the worst. They're almost the worst Power 4 team. And like I don't even know. I don't even want to figure out what stats or what. But like scoring defense. I mean, red zone. Like I mean, you name it. Like I mean,
We were the worst in yards per play in the Big
yards
Ten
per
since
yards
2000.
per play by a long margin too. Like I don't think other teams, even the bad teams, are allowing like 4 or 5 yards. We're allowing 6-7, like to do the 6-7 thing. But like it just hasn't. But yeah, we're allowing like 6.7, 7.6. It was just like there's just no end to it. And then your rush defense horrible. I mean, one of the worst. I mean, there's very few teams that were worse than us in a lot of different defensive stats. I wrote an article. I mean, it's on my article, like which ones in particular. But I mean, they were just. I mean, you name the statistic: yards per game, yards per play, so points per game. Like you name it. Like Rutgers just wasn't good at any of them. So I mean, they were not
I know
only
many Rutgers
powerful.
fans. I know many Rutgers fans were like, "The witch is dead. The witch is dead. The wicked witch is dead." Like the little Munchkins
You know,
at the start of the
everybody
Wizard
was
of
so
Oz.
happy.
Yeah, it's like it's literally like I can't even describe like how happy Rutgers fans were just to see somebody
Yeah.
not be employed next year.
I
But
know, right? Like, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just so 115th on scoring defense, allowing over 31.83 points per game. Total defense 126 nationally, allowing over 430 yards a game. Remember, Oregon put 750 on there. Against the run, I mean, they ranked 129th in the country, sixth worst. 209.9 yards per game. They allowed an FBS worst 6.79 yards per carry. And then in conference play, they allowed I'm seeing 7.9 yards per play, which is just that's just like that's insane. And I mean, it's just like I think overall it was like 7.6. So it was just not great. Like whatever way you want to look at it, like I mean, it was just not good. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just it was not only bad, but it was historically bad defense that Rutgers they still put on the field. They made a mockery of the dark side, like to the point where they couldn't even put that on the screen anymore. Like it was a disaster. Like maybe they took that off because that was Harris Simiak's thing, because I didn't see it all season, but that defense did not deserve the love and the, oh, we're the dark side and we're what's keeping the team on the. They were like the team they were the unit that was holding Rutgers back when the offense finally turned the corner, when they had guys like Callie McManus and Sheffield and Strong and KJ Duff and Antoine Raymond balling out every single possession against basically against any team that's not Ohio State or Oregon, and that's what you get on the other side.
Complete and utter domination.
Yeah, it's just like you have your offense balling out, moving the ball, scoring touchdowns, making crazy catches, running the ball, winning the line of scrimmage. Like, what more can you ask for? And then that's what you get on the other side of the ball. The offense has to feel let down. Like, it's like the opposite of what it used to be when the defense was like getting stops and the offense like 3-0, and now the defense gets worn down because they're tired. It's just like, wow. Hopefully, now we have the offense. We got to get the defense to fin it. We at least be half as good as the offense. We need to get a good hire at DC, someone who's competent, who's capable.
The one thing I will say with all these coaching changes, the opportunity to get a good DC ramps up rapidly with all these changes.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah, I know like TKR has like a hot board. There's definitely, I'm not exactly sure who's on there, but there's definitely a lot of good names, assistant position coaches, and guys from the NFL, guys from college, other DCs. There's so many people who are moving to new staffs right now. There's definitely going to be like names that open up for sure. So with the coaching carousel, kind of on full swing. So you keep your eyes on that. Yeah, I just don't think it could get worse. Like, the defense has nowhere to go but up. Even if they have a bad defense next year, it's chances are it's not going to be nearly this
bad. Be better.
So, I don't know. Right. Even if they have like a bad defense, like an objectively bad defense, like that defense could still be better than this one. Like that's a crazy part. So, hopefully it's better than that. Obviously, you don't want to settle for, just like, they're just bad but not horrible. But, even if they have that, they probably win like a couple more games this year, which is the crazy part. But anyway, I don't know. The Rutgers, like all the guys, all the guys who went to the NFL on the Rutgers defense, they must be looking at this like so disappointed. They're like, we used to pride ourselves on that. They must be looking at this defense like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Because
they look at this, what is this nonsense?
Right? Like, guys not lining up correctly, guys not knowing how to set the edge. Guys, there's nothing, no pressure, no good, not
running into each other in the goal line.
Oh my god. And lining up in the wrong spot at the goal line. How do you, it's just unbelievable. Like the things that nobody's covering any, like someone that's wide open. Literally the receiver lines up like to the left and the defensive back lines up in the middle and doesn't even make the adjustment after that because somebody else is supposed to be there and they're not. And I'm just like, against Purdue, like I was like, how are you lining up 5 feet away from the defender? Like this is like the most basic thing in the world. They can't even do that. They can't even fix it. You can't even be like, oh, I messed up. I'm going to go over there. But they can't because someone else is supposed to be there clearly, and they blew their assignment. So at least that part, it looks like they got fixed by the end of the season. But it looked like they got better, like against teams like Maryland, Ohio State even. Penn State, they went right back to their old ways. First drive of the game, the 50-yard passing touchdown. And then, of course, you got to give like Singleton, Allen credit. They're the best backs the Rutgers have seen all year, but they went for over 300 yards. Like they had like 5 different plays of like 50 yards. You could look at the offense and you could look at Cadman making a mistake and this and that, like which he did obviously. But the one constant here is how badly the defense played, and forcing the offense to play a perfect game to give yourself a chance to win every week is just not. It's just not realistic.
Not feasible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not feasible. It's wishful thinking, and maybe if you had Ohio State's offense on the field, maybe you could get it done. But it's just like I don't know what to say. Like it's not realistic. It really isn't realistic. It's not fair to the offense to have to put that kind of pressure on them either. And it's simply just not realistic because your defense cannot give you a stop. So anyway, well, that changes this year. And the worst part is it's like they did get stops at times. but then like they were just so wildly inconsistent the rest of the time, and it was just like, oh, like I don't know, man. It was just
Yeah.
so frustrating, and like yeah, I mean, it was just so disappointing, and
Well,
I don't know. They have to do a better job of getting portal guys or using them correctly, because the fact that Weaver and O'Neal barely had sacks this year, like that was just so disappointing. Seeing what their production was at Ohio and JMU last season too.
we don't know if that was strictly on their portal evaluations or just on how their defense was schemed up in
I think
general.
it was scheme because I mean, like they were really good in the like Eric O'Neal is
You
one of
can't tell me
the
that
guys.
these guys who were stars at the lower level come to the higher level and all of a sudden don't know how to play football. You
Yeah,
can't tell
it's
me
no, it's not that. I mean, it's definitely not that. Like O'Neal is like, I mean, part of it's probably the step up, but like O'Neal is like a wrecking ball last year. He had over a sack per game, and this year, like he was actually a pretty good run defender by the end of it. I mean, like the two of them, you know what I mean? So like I know they could play because they did play like really well by the end of the season, but to get there it took a while, and they used them as run defenders instead of sack threats, which was also just disappointing. I don't even know who led the team in sacks this year because like
Eric
nobody.
O'Neal.
Eric O'Neal, like he went like 2.5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. All right. Well, anyway,
Ugly.
like I said, nowhere to go but up for next season. So, new defensive coordinator got to nail the hire, and yeah, I mean to go back to your original point, like it should not be like the old boys club like where you only hire people like we got to get someone who's good regardless of whether you know them or have worked with them before. Like obviously it's better if you have, but I mean if you have to get someone who's
That
proven.
should not be the deciding factor. That's all I'm saying.
Right, yeah, because I feel like he went to Rob Smith again because he's comfortable with him, and he's worked with him before, and probably other options were taken off the board because of different reasons, money, I don't know, Rutgers,
Well,
like things
Rutgers
like that.
is in a much better place administratively than they were last season. With Kelly's in, with President
Right,
Pete, that reason is gone now. We are in a much better place administratively
right,
than we were last season. That reason is gone. Now it's time to make a home run hire, and that's it. Like, there's no other way around it. Um, I think we took Harris Simiak for granted for what he
yeah,
was
I
because
think
I
so a
think he
little
was
bit.
definitely one of the better coordinators in this league. And now that he's gone, we're certainly feeling the pinch. Um, I did just want to roll into the transfers
Yeah,
though. Uh, the transfer portal is not open to my knowledge. However,
no,
players are
I don't
announcing
think
that they
so.
intend.
Yeah, and 10
However,
years.
players are announcing that they intend to join or intend to enter the transfer portal. Rutgers has had 4 players announce that their intentions so far. Defensive lineman Jordan Walker, um, running back,
Sam Brown and CJ Campbell both.
running back Sam Brown, CJ Campbell, and wide receiver punt slash kick returner
Dean Partridge.
Dane Partridge. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, those are
I
the 4
mean,
names. Yeah, I mean Jordan
super
Walker.
big loss there.
Yeah, I think Walker probably the biggest. I mean, as it is, the defensive line wasn't good, and they're losing O'Neal, they're losing Weaver, they're losing Jordan Thompson, who's out of eligibility. They're losing Jabome, that defense, by the way. That's probably was their best player. But they're also losing now. They're losing Jordan Walker, who's joined the team as a walk-on as receiver. I think he led the team in sacks last year. He had 4. He's really become like, I guess, like a solid player. I would I would say, except for I mean none of the defensive linemen really had such a big impact this year, unfortunately, but he was definitely one of the best on the team. So seeing him walk is also disappointing because he was probably the one guy that was expected to come back on that starting line. I know guys like Ferrell Nago, who's really made a name for himself, he's probably going to get more playing time. Guys like Zaire Ngoy, if he has any more eligibility, like guys like that, like the rotation will be able to work in. The next batch will be able to come up, but they're going to need someone else from the portal on the on the D line because that's like 4 of their guys going now, and that's probably the biggest one. The running backs, Brown and Campbell. Campbell didn't really have too much of an impact. It looked like he might have if he wasn't injured with, because in the beginning of the season he was sharing carries with Raymond, it kind of had like a nice thunder lightning duo. Unfortunately, like I could see his talent. He had that shiftiness that a lot of the other running backs did not. Sean Benjamin kind of does in a little bit of a different way, but he also does. But yeah, Campbell got injured against Norfolk, so he was gone for the rest of the year. Sam Brown, and speaking of injuries, I mean, like he's been like that's just been like a what if story for Rutgers. Like he, came in as a 4-star recruit. He's had his moments. It's been really disappointing not really being able to see him live up to potential this season. He only played 4 games. He's missed multiple chunks of multiple years of injuries, and even when he's been healthy, he's never really been like the main option. Obviously,
He's never been healthy either.
yeah, he's always been dealing with something, and then it's been not guy this year. It's been Raymond who's been a bust at running back. So I mean, I think next year the running back room looks pretty set. I think Campbell probably saw the writing on the wall. Maybe Brown did as well. It looks like Raymond is going to be your 1A, 1B, and 1C. And then if you need a 1D, that's probably where Deshaun Benjamin comes in because that guy can ball too. I mean, like he's been whatever he's been asked to do, he comes in, he provides a burst, or he provides, he can help move the chains. But really, I mean, those 2 guys are going to be the guys, and it's really going to be the Raymond show. And this clarifies that even more. But I obviously wish all the guys the best. I mean, they're all really good players, and they've all had different stories, but they've all contributed. And Sam Brown, I think, particularly disappointing because, yeah, I mean, that's just really unfortunate. Like, I really thought he, like as a bigger back, like I thought he would really be able to have more of an impact for Rutgers, but injuries just really got in his way. And he has 1 more year of eligibility, so hopefully he finds somewhere, I guess, where maybe he could compete for a starting job or something or get NIL because he definitely is a player that deserves that kind of thing, and he could ball too. He definitely run the football, but assuming his health is there, it's unfortunate that it didn't work out at Rutgers. We've had our good running backs, but unfortunately, he wasn't really able to be the part of the picture due to his
I
injuries.
will say that if there's one player out of this group that I'm going to follow once they're gone is Jordan Walker because, I mean, that's just an incredible story there.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Partridge as well. Like he didn't really have too much of an impact. He came kind of late in the portal, over in August. He was mainly coming over. He was never really even at Northern Illinois, like their big receiver. He was mainly, like his main impact as a kick and punt returner. But problem is, like they didn't really have him out there that much. And even when they had anyone out there, nobody really returned any kicks or punts. So it was just kind of like not really, not didn't really have much of an impact at all, honestly. Like I said, Sheffield was out there a lot of the time, didn't really run a lot back at all, and Partridge didn't even get those opportunities. So it's just
you
like
didn't even see the field, so
exactly,
it's kind of
which is disappointing. I mean, I really wanted to see someone return kicks and punts, whether it was Sheffield who's done it in the past, Partridge who's done it in the past, Ben Black's a speedster, but
you get
I
all
don't know.
these talented players and you don't. Never mind.
Right? Like it's just a Shiano philosophy, I guess. We just take the ball at the 25 while the other team can try to get it to the 40. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's true for every year because I think like sometimes I don't know. That's not
You
really true.
used to, but
They
I don't
used
know.
to. Because didn't Dremel like, but even when he returned it, that was like one time when he returned it for like a big time, a big play against like Michigan or something like that, or against one team, he returned it like pretty far. But the rest of the times, like even like when the rest of the times even he didn't do it. And yeah, it's just not like whatever reason, it's just not a Shiano philosophy. I guess. I mean, like because they don't really even want to try to get across the 25. I mean. I don't know what the reason is. I mean, typically you don't really get that much further than that, but you at least give yourself a chance to get to the 30. And with these types of returners, they could have probably gotten to the 35, 40 a couple times. And they could have. I think the last guy to really be electrifying as a returner, now that I think about it, was around Crookshank, and that guy could take off for a house call. But since
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really had that much in terms of interesting returners, so it's not that big of a loss there. I
right,
would
right,
argue Campbell and Brown are not that big of a loss either.
yeah,
Um, from a locker room standpoint, Jordan Walker is absolutely a
oh
big
yeah,
loss. I mean, you're talking about somebody that's an inspiration to his teammates around him. He started off as a walk-on. Now, that was a captain, you
yeah,
know.
as a captain.
and decided to leave the team. But I think he probably saw the writing on the wall with all the changes that they made on defense. His very lackluster 2025 season, dealing
Yeah,
with injury, couldn't get on the field, struggling to start. You know, I think he kind of saw the writing on the wall in that area. Um, so definitely we'll be following him wherever he goes next.
for sure. And definitely also want to see where Sam Brown goes and Campbell. You know, it's like once you're part of the Rutgers family, you're part of the Rutgers family, I guess, and you want to follow, you know, your guys wherever they go, but especially guys who can actually make a real impact on the game. Like Campbell, I know can. Sam Brown probably can if he's healthy, and Jordan Walker too, is from a fan favorite perspective. And I don't know. We're losing a lot of guys like that. Like, you know, Jay Patel's leaving in special teams. Evan Ward, Timmy Ward, they're leaving. Like, it's going to be like an emotional offseason, I feel like, for Rutgers. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see all the changes that are going to be made, who they bring in to replace all the guys on special teams, on defense, on offense. Offense is going to be a big change this offseason. I mean, AJ Sarace coming in. You know, there are all the receivers that might be going. I hope that we get KJ Duff back, and of course Raymond as well. But like, you know, Sheffield's going to be gone, Strong's going to be gone. It's going to be a different team. But I think the offense is going to be in a good place, I think, with all their success and some of their O linemen coming back. And I think Sarace is expected to be very good, or pretty, you know, pretty ready and pretty good coming in to this year. So defensively, they're gonna have to do a lot of flipping. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but I'm optimistic that they're gonna be able to bring in some talent to kind of fill up the holes on this roster, I guess. You know, given the year that they had on the offensive side of the ball, at least.
I would agree with that. But that pretty much does it for everything that we have on the agenda here today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Rate us 5 stars in all the podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Music. You know, 5 stars really does help us out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, whatever. Do all that other stuff. It absolutely helps us out. Tell your friends. Recommend the pod. Again, thank you all so much for listening. And as always, remember that the bells must ring.